Hi everyone. Today I'd like to talk about the drop in the bucket effect. What is the drop in the bucket effect? Well, the saying seems to have originally come from researchers at Carnegie Mellon University who were trying to figure out if people intrinsically acted like Mother Teresa. If you don't know who Mother Teresa is, Mother Teresa was born in 1910 in what is now known as Northern Macedonia. She was a Roman Catholic nun and a missionary, and she was best known for helping the poorest of the poor people. Of course, there's quite a bit more to her story, and you can go out there and read about Mother Teresa. I'm going to simplify the researchers' study in my own words, and I'll try not to butcher it. The researchers gave people a technology survey and a payment of 5 $1 bills that they completed that research study. Interestingly, immediately after completing the study and the study participants getting their money, they got a charity request letter, which gave them the opportunity to donate money to Save the Children. Save the Children focuses on providing food, shelter, medical care, clean water, and education to vulnerable children and their families, if you've never heard of Save the Children before. So the researchers created 2 letters requesting donations. One focused on the overall effect of food shortages for 3 million children, 4 million Angolans fleeing their homes, and 11 million people needing immediate food assistance in Ethiopia. So really analytical, very heavy, full of statistics. The second letter focused on the story of a single girl with 100% of the benefits going to a girl who is desperately poor and facing severe hunger, potentially starvation, and it went on to explain all the benefits for that girl. So the people who simply read the first letter that was very analytical and full of statistics only contributed $1.14 on average. The people who read about the little girl's unique story contributed on average $2.38. From there came the drop in the bucket effect, which is that if people feel overwhelmed by the scale of a problem, their small donations seem or feel meaningless. If we say it another way, people who feel like their individual contributions are too small to make a significant impact to a larger problem tend to gravitate toward inaction as they feel their efforts won't really make a difference. You could also read the study and think that when people receive analytical information, they're less likely to think emotionally, and therefore they elicit less of an emotional response. So these researchers also ran a second study, and I'll keep it short, but they found out that if you present someone with analytics before hitting their emotional side, they'll also give you less money. A very similar situation came out from all of the Truth Anti-Smoking ads from the 90s and early 2000s that worked, hitting sort of angry undertones within people. So what does this tell us for buying and communications? Well, if we can inspire feelings, we can potentially get people to act. So what? Think about ways that we can inspire feelings and get messages to resonate. One is to tap into something that people care about. Can you tell a story while bridging in a concept that people care about? There's another really interesting concept called self-interest in psychology that says what matters to people. Well, what do you think? You're probably thinking it. The one thing that matters to people is themselves. It's a hard hitter, but it's true, at least in terms of psychology. What can you find in your messaging that appeals to someone's self-interest? Make your audience feel like the message is something that they want. Maybe a catchy headline like, you can protect your bank account if you follow these 5 simple cybersecurity strategies. Something along those lines. Maybe switch bank account with paycheck in the corporate sense, if you will. The one area that they found seems to sort of avoid this wisdom is politics, right? The Heath's book that I'm reading, and I'll post it in the post. I'll tag it in the post. Talks about the thought that you would think in politics that if someone came out and said they were going to raise taxes only on the highest of incomes, that the vast majority of people would vote for that person, and only the folks that are super rich would vote against it. But that's not how it works. Self-interest doesn't necessarily work in those scenarios. People will still vote for a person that's going to raise their income tax. even if that means fewer taxes for the rich. And I'm not getting into a political discussion. I'm just pointing out that sometimes self-interest communications work, sometimes they don't. In that study, other principles seem to take the lead, like equity, individualism, government ideals, and other things that would sort of trump self-interest, if you will, or things violated a self-principle that we hold dear. So long story short, from a psychological perspective, appealing to someone's self-interest works. Making someone feel that their contributions to your efforts is large also works. So get out there and fill someone's bucket if you want to get them to buy in, whether it's another project, an individual contributor's performance, or a message that you're just simply trying to communicate to your audience. Get out there and fill that bucket. Thanks.